Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Gary Dick. A Purdue University study found that Indiana could gain billions of dollars in economic benefit over 20 years with full deployment of broadband into rural areas where access is now sorely lacking. Governor Eric Holcomb's Next Level Broadband Initiative will dedicate $100 million to bring broadband service to the entire state. Indiana Director of Broadband Opportunities Scott Rudd is here now to explain how the program works and what it could mean for the state's economy. Scott, as always, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me, Gary.
Before we get into the program, to tee up this issue, and a lot of people are talking about it, but people in metro areas like Indianapolis and Fort Wayne and South Bend, Evansville, don't really think about this. There's internet broadband access there, but in many rural areas of the state, that is not the case.
That's true, and in my extensive travels here in the first 6 months of my position, it's always interesting to travel to these places with little access, and I really know I'm in the right spot or in the hot spot when I can't get access to maybe cell phone coverage or internet coverage to communicate with the outside world. Folks from children to seniors to businesses to governments, quite frankly, are struggling with this issue.
Well, when you talk about that, you talk about cell service, but then you talk about business development and businesses trying to grow, families, kids doing homework, that kind of thing. I know there was a story, the governor has told it several times, the Starbucks in Martinsville and how busy that can be during the week.
Yeah, you know, I live next to a public library, and so every day when I come to work, I see folks, or in the evenings when I get home, I see folks parked there in their cars with the lights on their phones and on their laptops, children and adults, and they're utilizing a technology they don't have access to at home, and that might be due to the lack of affordability for that individual. All
right, let's talk about this pretty ambitious program, $100 million targeted to get broadband access to a larger swath around the state. How's the program going to work?
So the program will be administered by NDOT and OKRA, carried out by OKRA, and will go to providers or any folks who would like to deploy broadband to some of these unserved areas. And unserved is a definition of an area that does not have 10:1 speed. So that's kind of a very limited speed, and if a community member or business doesn't have access to that, they're going to struggle to operate in a day-to-day fashion.
What are you seeing around the state? Because this is a program, I think, that takes collaborations, the providers, but also communities around the state are beginning to engage in this.
You know, we are seeing extensive engagement at the community level in ways that we don't see typically, with community members and businesses and educators and healthcare folks and seniors and on and on and on, coming together in a way to drive this issue and drive investment to their individual community, because at the end of the day, Gary, this is a local economic development issue that affects local prosperity.
And you have witnessed this firsthand. You were involved in the broadband deployment, the broadband situation in Brown County.
That's right. Yeah, we were very fortunate to engage numerous providers, which is really what it's going to take to solve this problem in some of these communities, in making a major investment of over $20 million in fiber to the home. So we're very fortunate, and we worked very hard to accomplish that.
A couple examples as we wrap up. I know you've identified real key challenged areas: Benton County in west central Indiana, Crawford County down south. I guess it's areas where there's just not much population, right?
You know, Gary, the low density is really the challenge here, and 6 folks per mile is something that is very difficult to attain. And so the Next Level Connections program is aimed at shining a light on those areas of darkness and really bringing resources there.
And this, as we wrap, $100 million, but it's just the beginning. This is phase 1 of what will likely be a longer-term program.
That's right. Thanks to the leadership of the administration, the legislature, this will be the first phase of that rollout, and look forward to seeing that happen.
Major economic development issue around the state: access to high-speed broadband, internet access. Scott Rudd, the Indiana Director of Broadband Opportunities. Thanks, as always. We'll be following the story.
Thank you, Gary.
All right.